What's up guys, it's CG. So this is going to be a thorough review of Italian leather by the house of Memo. First, I'm going to give you guys a rundown so you have a general idea what the fragrance is about. Then I'm going to share how users rated the scent profile and the performance. My wife and I are going to share our impressions of it. And finally, I'm going to share my overall opinion after wearing it. Without further ado, let's get this started. So this fragrance starts off with tomato leaf front and center, and it ends on vanilla leather with a bit of a tomato leaf flair. Very unique fragrance. I imagine this is one that will be very polarizing for some people, both because of the vibe of it and also because of the tomato leaf note. The notes listed on Memo's website indicate that it's a somewhat complex fragrance. On average, users rated the scent a 7.6, 55% gave it an 8 or above, and only about 1 out of 5 people gave it a 6 or lower. And I'm in that 1 out of 5 category. I would give this a 5 with all things considered, but it was a roller coaster of emotion for me. Sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't like it, but ultimately it's just very not for me. And the blending is a little bit too disorganized on this one. For longevity, it got an average rating of an 8.2. 3 out of 4 people gave it an 8 or above, and I'm in agreement with that. I think it has good performance and it lasts a decent amount of time. For sillage, it got an average of a 7.5. 3 out of 4 people gave it a 7 or an 8. I agree with that. I don't think it has really good projection, but I don't think it's bad either. Kind of just feeling different about it, so I would give it a 7. All right, so when I ordered this sample, I wasn't really necessarily looking for something super crowd pleasing. I feel like I've abused my fragrance arousal system, and now it takes a lot to turn me on, basically. Like, I'm getting kind of bored of all the freshies and all the citruses and all the similarities. I was like, tomato leaf and leather. That sounds interesting. That sounds niche. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to try this thing out. And yeah, I got what I asked for, so I can't hate on the fragrance. I don't want this to come across as dragging it. I actually had a phase for a minute where I actually liked this one. But overall, it's just definitely not for me. But it's a very weird and interesting experience with this fragrance. It's something else. And that happens from the opening, from the initial spray immediately. And I actually like the opening. The opening is my favorite part, and if it maintained the opening, I think I would like the fragrance a lot more. The opening, you're hit with a very green plant smell. Is it tomato leaf? Yes. Does it scream tomato? No. It's one of those things that you can miss it. If you were just smelling it, you might think that it's just a really intense plant smell. And you might not pick up that it's tomato leaf. But if you're smelling it while you're thinking tomato, you start to get, oh, that's what this is. This is tomato leaf. And this is a weird thing I get from it. I get like this pickle smell, but not like in the way of Santal 33, which to me is more of a vinegar pickle. This is like those white pickles that are fermented in water and have that really more sharp kind of sourness to them. It almost punches like that with this very strong green with almost like a punchy pickle smell to me, with like a bit of a tomato thing when you think about it. Now this just sounds disgusting, but in reality I actually like this part. It's something else. It's really fresh. The leather's there, but it's very in the background, like super in the background. Okay, after the openings where things go downhill, I start to get the leather, and the leather that Memo uses in Irish leather and this are the same, and to me it's a very vintage leather and I do not like it, and that's like why it goes downhill for me. The reason I don't like it is it's a very boot barn leather. It's not like animalic. To me, it's not really manly. It's not like a fresh, clean leather. To me, it's like you're in a leather shoe shine shop and there's a smell, and it just reminds me of old man leather, like very boot barn leather, and I just don't like that. That starts mixing in with the tomato leaf, and then later on the tomato leaf dissipates and goes way in the background, and then a vanilla comes in to mix with the boot barn leather. Now the blending here to me is a bit off. Sometimes I actually smelled it and thought, huh, this is pretty good. This is pretty masculine. I don't like the Boot Barn leather, but I actually think this smells like a manly cologne that's like a leather with vanilla. And then sometimes I smelt it and all I was getting was peanut butter powder. Almost like a non-sweet peanut butter powder smell, and just was like grossed out by it. But you know, you hear what it is: tomato leaf, leather, vanilla. What did I think I was getting myself into? Definitely not crowd pleasing. The reason I don't like the leather in this is it gives me a very honky tonk vibe. It's not like, you know, oh, I'm going to the stockyards in Fort Worth and I'm wearing a leather jacket. No, it's more like honky tonk, almost leather, like 60-year-old honky tonk, going to the honky tonk club kind of leather smell to me. Very old man, very dated, and just gives me a chinky vibe almost. Like, I don't like it. I could see why some people would, but it's just not for me at all. Irish leather, Italian leather, absolutely not for me. I can appreciate them objectively, and you know, it is a fragrance. One thing I'll say redeemable about Italian leather is that it made me feel something. It is a vibe, and it was challenging, and that's what I wanted going into it, and that's what I got out of it. So I got something out of it. It's not like, one thing that will piss me off more than something I don't like is something that just smells like everything else. Like, that's almost more aggravating. Like, really, I went out of my way to get this sample and it just smells like bergamot. Like, that crap's annoying. So I do appreciate Italian leather because it is a vibe. Maybe it's a vibe I don't resonate with at all, and maybe the blending is not as good as I feel it could be, and maybe it's just a little off for me, but at least it was something.
I've smelled this before, and it's so specific that it's gonna be so hard to explain. I'm gonna try my best. There's a flower. This smells exactly like a very common flower, and I wish I knew the name. I don't, but it's not a rose and it's not a carnation. It's a very common flower that you would see in like a supermarket flower bouquet. When you break the petals, like you're playing with the flower and you break the petals and smell it, it's exactly like this. Okay, so what would that be? Floral green scent? That's what it is. It smells great. I love it, actually. It's really nice. I think this could work in the summer because it's so natural smelling. And it could work for the entire year. Very good. I give it a 8.
So my overall opinion of Italian leathers, it's not for me. It was still worth trying for me because it was something else. And if you wear this, I don't think you stink. I don't think it smells bad. It's not my type of vibe. Feel free to comment with y'all's opinions, subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.